Good evening and welcome to the Bitter Knitters podcast. It is Monday, October 1st, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Yo.
Ryan's also here. Or not.
Hi. Sorry. I'm looking at my phone. I'm so sorry. Ew, sorry.
This bitch. Now, I heard the weirdest thing. I just want to say this quickly because I never heard this in my many, many years of living. I was listening to First Wave Radio, which is on Sirius Satellite, and it's hosted by this British guy for the most part. And he was saying how on October 1st, before you get out of bed, you're supposed to say white rabbit, white rabbit, white rabbit as many times as you can to bring good luck for October. Have you guys ever heard of this craziness?
I've heard of white rabbit before, but you're supposed to say it around a campfire so the smoke will go out of your eyes.
Yeah, see, I knew that one.
I always thought that was stupid too, so I'm assuming this fucking superstition is just as dumb.
Wait. What? I'm a little lost. What?
Yeah, so I don't know why. He didn't explain why. He just said that on October 1st, before you get out of bed, like as soon as you open your eyes, you're supposed to say white rabbit as many times as you can. And that will bring you luck for October.
You know what my first thought is when I get out of bed on a Monday specifically?
I want to go back to sleep.
Nah, more so like I hope that the building where my job is collapses so we don't have to
overnight so nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, so nobody exactly like overnight, so nobody gets hurt. Of course, like I really don't want anybody to get hurt. But
you live in New York, man. That's not an option. There's always people around, man.
Cleaner, somebody's in there.
Arthur, it's brick, so hopefully just inside,
or just his office part. Okay, the rest stands, just his office.
Yeah.
Also, today is the 1-year anniversary of the Las Vegas shooting. Which
Still
I was like,
answers.
What? 1 year? Well, we'll never really have answers.
No, there's
unless
still
we
no
can
nothing.
get his brain and have some sort of scientific thing that can,
maybe
pull
we'll get
memories
there.
out of a dead pickled brain.
Hey, yeah, you never know, but yeah.
Yeah, so I read an article today that a little bit upset me in a way because, okay, so the article was basically saying how it's been a year and how the survivors feel like, America's moved on and forgotten them, right? Which I understand that. But I mean, like, America donated a ton of money to them. The government's helped them out. What more? I mean, no offense, but what more do you want us to do? Like, we're not going to, beat ourselves over this every day. It didn't happen to us. That's how we are.
Change
right?
your fucking society so there's not a tragic shooting every fucking month, and then maybe people remember the tragic shooting you were involved in.
For real, though. I mean, like, no offense, but, like, the kids from Parkland,
right?
They've done so much more to prevent, trying at least, to prevent gun violence happening again in schools. And I haven't seen any of these Las Vegas people being as vocal as the Parkland kids.
That's a weird thing to bitch about. Like, oh my God, I get it.
It's kind of like, I don't want to be like mad because I feel sad that this happened to you. Like, one lady got shot in the head and she had to learn to walk and talk and write and all that stuff. And that's horrible. But like, what more do you want me to do, lady?
Well, but then let's talk about who was that representative that got shot? Was it her name Kathy? Gifford? Was it Gifford?
It wasn't Gifford, but it was something like that.
Yeah. I do apologize if I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But it's the same concept where we are a breaking news society now, right?
Absolutely.
Let's be frank about this.
Waiting for the next tragedy to strike. Yeah.
But the thing is, sorry, go ahead, Arthur.
It's just your tragedy from a year ago doesn't fill the 24-hour news cycle. Sorry, not fucking sorry. You know what I mean? It's just, it's where society is. It's still tragic, and we all still feel for you, but that's a weird thing to bitch about.
But can I just repeat the line I've been saying about us for, I think, 2 weeks now? And by the way, my absence has been absent. I want to just repeat the line I've been saying, and I hope this isn't offensive when I say this. I'm not saying this to make it seem like Jacqueline, me, and Arthur are all doing so well in life or whatever, but we are somewhat, in a way, privileged to have this knowledge, this vast knowledge of knowing and remembering and commemorating things when they do come up. But we can't put that upon society because society doesn't function like that. It's the next Snap, it's the next Insta, it's the next Twit, it's the next, I don't know if that's the right tweet, rather, it's the next Facebook post. It's not about the remembering of things anymore. And we have to, as a culture, remember this. You know, people don't care as much.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, like it upsets me. It upsets me, and people don't understand why I'm angry that they're going to close schools on Remembrance Day here. Because in my mind, without a Remembrance Day assembly, kids aren't going to watch the ceremony online. Kids aren't going to go to a memorial at a cenotaph. They're going to play Fortnite or sleep in. And I feel like, you know, who's remembering the veterans then? You know?
It's funny. I mean, especially here in Canada, is a lot of the younger generations don't understand the significance of World War I and why Remembrance Day is so important, because that's when we really formed our national identity. That's when Canada really actually became its own nation. Right? They'll never understand that. It is tragic, but at the same point in time, I mean, we can't force people to remember.
I like that. Like businesses could close because then you can go to, you know, one of the memorials. But it's just like, it bothered, because I really felt like when I went to school, Remembrance Day was like one of the biggest days that stand out in my mind. I don't remember the Christmas assemblies. I don't remember any of that. I remember Remembrance Day. And it was like such a solemn, and I know I can't force other people to feel that it should be as a solemn day as I feel, right? I can't force people to feel that way. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like, you know, I feel bad on 9/11 and I think about it, but you can't force anybody else to feel the same way you feel.
But you should, but I think as a nation, we should be teaching the next the younger the society gets, because it's just getting younger, right? The younger society gets, we have to be more aware of how we should be educating them and how we are having them remember things. If it means getting good with the times and the technology, then so be it, I guess. Because ultimately, for me, my main issue, and I was having a deep conversation with my mom about this, unrelated to this, of course, about the problem with the baby boomers and the older generation who felt like technology wasn't that necessary. I'm sure Arthur would know exactly what I'm referring to with this. No offense, Jacqueline.
I'm not a baby boomer.
No, I'm not saying. That was low-key shade on my part, but that's okay.
Fucking dumb bitch. Take a society class and learn your generations.
But Jacqueline, you're old. No, but all jokes aside, like Arthur would know what I'm referring to. You know, people who are very hesitant on technology. Jacqueline, you know what I'm talking about as well. People who don't want to learn how to do this, don't want to learn how to do that.
I know people 90s, come to work, refuse to get a debit card.
No. The huge surge that we had in the 90s of this big technology coming in, and I'll never forget something that was said to me. I was probably 4 or 5. That's never going to catch on. Well, you know,
I will say, I remember in the 80s, I mean, I liked playing Oregon Trail, but I was like, who would have a computer at home? That makes no sense. Because, like, really, I knew you couldn't go online like in the movies, is what I thought, right?
Why would you call it a home computer? It's not at home. You know
but I just didn't think it would make any sense. And even in the 90s, I mean, I didn't get a computer till 2002. I really didn't understand how good it could be.
There's a quote by either Plato or Socrates where they're going off about how all these kids learning how to write on paper and not use a fucking chisel and hammer are you know what I mean? Like, it was the same fucking shit that's being said now. I read a news article from a newspaper in the 1940s or something like that saying how children aren't listening to their parents because they're spending too much time reading the newspaper. Old people are always going to bitch about what young people do because old people hate the fact that young people are young and they're out there fucking and having fun and drinking and doing the shit, man. Right? Doing the shit that their fucking asses didn't fucking do.
Well, but it's ultimately my whole point to my mother and my father when we were driving around, and it was a very intimate conversation. I said, we were discussing my aunt and her business and how she could generate more. And there is a point to this, to what we were just discussing. I said the hesitance that we have of thinking technology is a bother, yet others don't seem to think that. And I said, I'm a part of that. We've thrived on it. I said, you have lost out on jobs, on opportunities, on ultimately a lot of things because you've hesitated on it, because you thought it was going to ruin this person's life and your eyesight was going to go bad, which has been dispelled and all this stuff.
Or you're going to get cancer.
Right. And look at where it took you. You know, I said to her, going back to the whole point of what we're discussing, we have to, I think, with the younger generation, we just have to be vigilant on maybe digitizing a lot of this stuff. Maybe put it on Snapchat, put it on Instagram. I don't know, but make it be aware that this is an important milestone, or this is an important event in our history. One way or another, they have to learn. Maybe it's not going to be by pen and paper nowadays. Maybe it's going to be by the newest iPhone or whatever. But we have to. It's our job. And the more we resist as a society about technology, the more this is going to happen, unfortunately.
There's kind of like a new renaissance, but it's just of people rejecting history, not wanting to pay attention to the sacrifices made by the men and women who went to war during World War I, World War II, because all wars are dirty and all wars are nasty. And it was normally somebody of less privilege than us who died and said war, right? So there's a big sentiment amongst young people that view this. Like, this isn't just me talking out of my ass. I have heard this rhetoric spewed before. Personally, it fucking aggravates the fuck out of me. Like, it truly, honestly does, because, I mean, I'm a Canadian. I'm a Canadian fucking patriot, and I understand that if it wasn't for what we did in World War I, we would still be the little brother to the UK. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be our own sovereign fucking nation as we are now. I mean, at least the illusion of it. But... Did you
watch Real Time this week with Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, well, I watched it for Bannon and then I turned it off.
Oh, okay. Well, he was on. He was basically talking. He's made a book about science and the military, and he was like, like he grew up in the '60s generation thinking all war was horrible, right? Yeah. And as he got older, he realized that war is necessary sometimes. He talked about World War I and World War II, how it was necessary, and it was very interesting. Yeah,
peace is it's an illusion. Yeah. The only way to achieve peace is in all honesty, is a huge cull of the population and us removing ourselves from fucking borders.
But even in your village, you'd have, you know what I mean? Like if there was like 10 people left in your village, somebody doesn't like somebody and they're fighting.
Right? It's just, it's nature.
Yeah.
But isn't that the biggest form of exploitation has always been war? Like we
no,
always had a war on something.
I'd say religion has been the biggest cause of exploitation of the masses, in all honesty. And I'm not picking on the Christians or anything.
No, you're not. No, not at all.
I mean, I know there were Buddhists, like some Buddhist monks that did go to war, but in all honesty, Buddhism has never really went to war like the Christians or the Catholics or the Jews or what have you. But they still exploit their people in the same way. They just do it with a little bit more kumbayas in the middle. You know what I mean? Yeah. All organized religion it's the worst shit that's ever happened in history.
Of course.
Like, seriously.
Because there's always somebody will exploit it. Exactly. Somebody will take it and use it. Whoever the top Buddhist monk is, whoever the top priest is, whoever the top rabbi is, somebody will
use it as a point to make their followers believe that they are now superior than somebody else, which is to me is the most disgusting aspect of all organized religion. Like that to me was one of the things that really made me go, fuck this stuff, I can't do it. Like I can't join a church, because it always comes down to, well, just remember that you're better than these people. Yeah. Well, that doesn't fucking jive with how I look at the world.
You're worshiping the right God in the right church, and everybody else is wrong.
Exactly. But
yeah. Well, okay. So let's move on. We'll get we didn't even get to any of our updates yet. We're busy. But okay, so quickly, I just want to say Rod Rosenstein did not get fired as of yet. I don't know what happened at the meeting. I guess it got buried in the the Kavanaugh stuff, because nothing happened. And as far as I know, he's still there working at the DOJ. So good luck, Rod. And then, of course, the big news everybody knows was the Brett Kavanaugh, Dr. Christine Ford, whatever her name was. She testified what happened to her. She was questioned. Then they had a break, and then he came in and he testified and he was questioned. And when it seemed like he was going to be voted, because they did vote to say they want to go ahead and vote to confirm him, Senator Flake had a change of mind and said he wants an investigation. He had two other Republican senators say that they sided with him, and if they went to the vote, they weren't going to vote for Kavanaugh. So we've got a 1 week stay, I guess is the word you want to use. There's going to be an FBI investigation. Originally, they were only supposed to question 4 people, but now the White House has said they can go ahead and investigate anybody they need to get the answers. But it has to be done by Friday. So
I feel like there's a little bit of misdirection going on with this whole thing. I really do. It was just really odd to hear fucking, old Donnie Bitch Tits fucking say like, oh no, investigate whoever you want, man. Fuck, man, who cares?
Yeah.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
it makes me feel like there's a little bit of sleight of hand going on right now, and we're too focused on the optics of that fucking shit show of a hearing to actually be paying attention what the fuck that idiot's doing.
What documents he's shredding,
right? I mean, like, I don't know if you listened to his trade talk press conference today. I obviously did because I did not very into this whole thing. And just I get the feeling with his answers, with him saying like, yeah, man, investigate whomever you want. I honestly feel like he's gearing up to have this be the main story as he tries to go after the EU or China for tariffs and trade talks.
Oh,
I really do.
Makes
that's
sense.
very heavy. But he's a great. I am gonna compliment him heavily on this. So guys, get ready to fucking shank me if you want to. He's always been a great spinner. He has always been a great spinner. I mean, come on, dude. Like this guy.
He could have been a master illusionist because while his hand's over here, you're looking over there, and he's picking your pockets and he's flipping cards. Yeah.
But that was Avenatti's point. That was Behar's point. That was Mars' point for the longest time, is that you have to focus on the real problem. Yeah. When the whole Kavanaugh shit show was happening, I underlyingly, we knew really what was going on. I mean, they finally just took care of the whole NAFTA, thing with Mexico and Canada today. I mean, after months or maybe even a year. But then people are forgetting that this whole China tariff war is still going on, and like now your $5 shirt's going to turn into, I don't know, $50 all of a sudden.
I will say this: he did make fucking good on his promise. He definitely did fuck us and got you guys the greatest fucking deal he possibly could. So I mean, hey, at least give him fucking that.
Yeah. I don't even care about all the rest of this shit. I am upset that they opened up the market to the dairy as much as they did.
5%. It's not really that big of a deal.
It's not
in the grand, like I've seen somebody crunch the numbers earlier. My whole issue is I mean, you got Trudeau running around acting like it's a fucking win when his whole point was, well, we didn't lose as much as we thought we were going to lose. Go fuck yourself, bud. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I did read Brian Mulroney saying that he thought it was a great thing and that he saw that Canada got more things than that like he said, than was expected. So
I mean, the only thing that turned out good was that we still got to keep Article 19, which I'm really surprised on. I honestly thought the whole deal was going to rest on that.
We can go to the
exactly. Yeah, that's the one that essentially says that if Canada and the U.S. as states get into a conflict, we can go to a third party for arbitration, meaning that our courts or your courts can't exclusively decide. Which, hey, that sounds fucking amazing.
Because of course America's going to side with America and Canada's going to decide with Canada.
So when that was put in there, I was fucking mad. I was like, you motherfucker, and that's why I kept saying he's just trying to posture himself for make more money at the end.
I just want to throw this out there again. I've been saying this to almost every single Uber driver I've had for the past 2 months, especially to one that I always get, and I always forget his name. I think his name is Michael. Very smart young man. He's in finance. And I've said, I'm mostly afraid that we're all so worried about who he's putting in the Supreme Court, who he's putting here, who he's putting there, but no one's concerned about the bubble burst that's going to happen in a couple of years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we're heading there, and I don't know.
I don't think it'll be a couple of years. Like, put your money on your mattress or something, because
I'm being very, very nice when I say a couple of years. I just want to finish this point. I know Arthur's going to say something. But no, not in a bad way. I'm ultimately nervous because I don't know if we can take another huge hit the way we did in 2008. Sorry.
Your economy can recover. It's just the idiot in chief thinks that you're a manufacturing economy, which is selling your entire country story. You are a fucking service economy.
Yep.
That's who you are. So even this whole thing with we want the auto jobs back, you can't do it. You're not a manufacturer. Like, that's the whole thing that blows my mind. I understand he's great at business. Okay, cool, bravo. But you're a fucking idiot everywhere else, bud.
Yeah.
You do not understand that you are not a manufacturing economy.
Drives me crazy. It happens the same here in Ontario every time there's an election.
We're not
talk about bringing the jobs back. It's not happening.
Quebec, if Quebec wants to go, hey, we want more manufacturing jobs, like, yeah, that makes sense. You guys make shit. We're a service economy. We have engineers. We have architecture firms. That's essentially the U.S., right? Yeah. The most valuable thing to the U.S. economy, from my perspective, is your intellectual property. Manufacturing is third, maybe fourth to that, like behind military and other like health, leaps and bounds. But manufacturing, no, he's dumb. And people that believe that are dumb.
Tim Cook had a great interview on, was it GMA, Good Morning America, with Robin, what's her name?
Robin.
Oh, God.
Robin Leach?
No, what's her name?
The one that pops
Robin Roberts.
Robin Roberts, there we go. And he said exactly what you were just saying. Everything is made here. The glass is made in Kentucky. The chip is made in blah blah blah. It's designed here. It's not produced. What do you call that? It's all the all the ideological stuff goes into it. It's done here. It's assembled there. Thank you. The concept is here, but it's assembled in China because we don't manufacture. This is not 1940s, 1950s United States anymore. Yeah. We can't do that. We can't afford it.
I argued that when he came out and started saying "Make America Great Again," everybody was up on their fucking shit about it. And I said, you don't understand what he's saying. What he's saying is make America have the best manufacturing economy in the world again, which is fair because after you guys during World War II destroyed every other fucking manufacturing opponent that you had, of course you became a manufacturing superpower, only ahead of Russia. Of course. Japan had no steel. Germany had no steel. They had nothing. Their countries were fucked, right? It can't happen. This guy is selling your tech and your R&D sector short, and that to me is what makes the American economy strong. You'll never be a manufacturing economy again.
We cannot compete with China in terms of manufacturing. We cannot, even with the amount of people that we have. First of all,
no American's going to go work at a factory for $3 a day.
No.
Right. Thank you for taking my words, Jacqueline, you bitch. That's what I was going to say. We're too educated, and so is Canada, let's be frank. We're too educated of a nation to do that.
No.
We're not going to do that. Do you think that the Norwegians are fucking fighting to work in a fucking factory?
Well, that's it. Why do you think we don't have textile plants here?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because, there's people out there in the world who unfortunately aren't as well off as us, and
hazardous chemicals anymore.
Right? They can fucking do that. But so that was one of the interesting things I found today watching him in his press conference about the trade relations. Was him saying, "Oh, but our steel industry is the best. It's going to grow, blah blah blah." And it's like it can't grow, you stupid fuck. Especially not without trade, because all your ore is coming from Canada, and since you want to be a cock to us.
Can I just be a little bit of a? Can I just release a little bit of a bitch alert before I go off in my little rant here? Because this is going to come off very, very dumb. A lot of the people who voted for Trump, it's been a proven fact. A lot of them are uneducated people who are mainly in poverty-ridden areas. No offense. I'm not making fun of you. I understand the struggle. Trust me. However, you are being sold a deed that does not exist. You're being sold a factory that's not built. You're being sold a job that's not available.
Coal mine that's not going to open.
It's not here. Yeah, it's not here anymore. It's unless you want to become all of a sudden a Chinese citizen, by all means do so. He's going to create jobs in China, not here. Well, we don't have the funds. We don't. We cannot afford.
But if you don't start paying off that $14 trillion in debt, you guys might have Chinese citizenships.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
for real. Okay, so one thing I did like in the new, in Canada's part of the new, I don't even want to call it the new thing because it's so stupid, NAFTA. Yeah. For what was it, 1985, 86 we had the original NAFTA?
It's something like that, yeah.
Anything that we ordered from America or we brought across the border from America, after $20 you had to pay duty on, right? And you paid the taxes, obviously your taxes. Yep. So now that's been up to $40 for taxes, woo, but $150 to order before you pay the duty, which is a big difference. Because like I've ordered a hat for Scott. I couldn't get it off the Canadian website. I had to get it from NFL.com, and the hat went from $40 to $75 with duty and exchange.
My God.
So I mean
But
that will change. So.
there is a way around it,
Can I-
and no one ever mentioned this, and I don't think many people know, but it's not illegal for a Canadian to have a PO box in either upstate New York or Michigan.
Yeah, I didn't
And
have a
I have
passport then.
a few people that do
Yeah.
that, and you just pay them for their PO box, and you get,
Yeah.
and then it's either you tell the border agent that you got something new in your trunk, or you don't.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's up to
Oh,
you.
I'm scared. Trust me, when I was down in the States and we were shopping, I'm like, we'll just put it in our bags and he'll never know. We have so much stuff in our car. And as soon as we were getting to the border, I pulled out every single receipt.
Everything,
I'm like, here you go. Here you go, border officer. Because my biggest worry was unpacking that car and packing it again.
Mr. Arthur and Miss Jacqueline, I just want to ask you a question, and please do not fucking scold me for asking this. This is the dumbest yet smartest question I will ask you so far. Am I living in a bubble in thinking that you guys pay that much in duties?
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
Like, we can. There is a potential there where you can get pretty stiffed at the fucking border.
They have certain rules too for
Right.
how long you're in. I mean, like, so if you're there for 24 hours, I think you can spend $100.
Yeah.
Before they start
Duty
charging
free.
you.
$100? Wait, but 100?
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
If I put a coat, it's not 100. I just want you to know.
Well, and that's why we're super honest. Now, the border guy at Canada, or America, or coming into Canada, the American, he didn't make us pay any duty on any of our clothes. He just made us pay for the alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, again, it's not every time, but you can get away with, sticking it to them a little bit. It's not, I'm sorry, we're not going to collapse either of our fucking economies if we're not paying
a pair of Adidas.
Right? Like, it's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
But, oh, no.
Everybody tries. I've said so many people just scuff up your shoes a bit and, and wear the clothes under your clothes.
Wear every single thing you bought.
You guys sound like my cousin. Okay, I have a cousin. I have multiple family members who live in the Cayman Islands. As you guys all know, tax haven. But I have a cousin who frequents, and she shops here. And she said that her allotted amount to bring in is, I want to say 450 CI, which is about $575 US dollars.
Yeah.
That's a lot. To me,
that is
that's
a lot.
However, okay, so let me just point this out really, really quickly before you guys laugh hysterically. I bought the new iPhone, whatever. And there was this article that I was reading. It was kind of a little bit like, what is he talking about in this article, where it said some people could be paying up to almost, if not, $2,500 for the new iPhone. I'm like, why so expensive? And it's because of these goddamn tariffs. See, I must live in a bubble because I live in the United States.
See, and that's another thing that is going to it's going to be so rough, because he's going to go after China next.
Yeah.
Right. He has to. He said it, and I mean, if one thing that he's proven, if he says it, he's going to at least pursue it a little bit.
He tries, yeah.
So, those $1,000 iPhone 10s, well, welcome to paying $3,200 for them.
Even Logan is freaking out because he's trying to build a computer and he wants a graphics card. And sometime this month, those graphic cards, because of all the little pieces of steel and aluminum and minerals, are going to go, and it's going to be almost double the cost.
Yep. No, this whole trade thing, I mean, it was useless as far as I'm concerned. I don't agree with his whole, your farmers are getting fucking fucked over. I'm sorry. We have way more usable land mass than you do, bud. We don't need your farmers. We can feed ourselves. Thank you very much. You coming into our market with your subpar fucking quality control is not something we want. Now, that's not to say for everything. It really isn't. If this now means that like Chick-fil-A can cross the border, I mean, cool. I'm sure people would be really fucking thrilled with that.
It's fucking delicious. Sorry, I know they're anti
right? Like,
gay marriage, but that shit is so good.
Bitch, I eat there all the time. I'm sorry, you can be anti-gay all you want. You make good chicken there.
Oh, it's good.
I love that too. I love how like we all have that thing where we'll sell our fucking morals so quickly down the river for like some tasty chicken.
Nestle makes Chick-fil-A. Trust me, I'd be like, sorry, man. Sorry.
Jacqueline told me that she was the fucking murderer, but she made good chicken, I'd be like, hey, you can murder my whole family.
Right? Yeah.
Every day.
I love how, like, we all...
Our morals and our ethics disappear
like,
for
we
some
all
good
have
chicken.
an ethical standpoint, but there's some things we're just like, yo, well, fuck my ethics for a minute, because this coleslaw is out of this world.
We are supposed to get a Chick-fil-A here, I think, in April, Arthur.
I sell myself to food. Each and every single time, I will always sell myself to food because food is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I don't care if you farted on it. If it's good, I'm eating that
You're
shit.
supposed to
You
fart
know?
as long as your butt was covered when you farted and no like particles got there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to say one more thing. You know, when NAFTA happened here in Canada, Arthur wouldn't remember because he was literally a baby.
Yep.
There was things we could not get. And when that opened up, we got a lot more books, we got food items, we got a lot of common things that we take for granted now that we didn't have before.
That's another thing. Any Canadians listening, if you haven't already, go by To Kill a Mockingbird. There's a couple other classics that are going to skyrocket in price now. That was a big thing for him.
You guys scared
Wait,
the crap
books are going up?
Yes, on certain American authors because it's their IP and it falls within this new 75-year limit that they just introduced. Before intellectual
because
property
the copyright ran out in 80 years.
Right. So traditionally, the copyright law agreement between our two nations was your entire lifespan plus 50 years afterwards.
Okay.
That's your sole copyright. God. Now they just implemented it that it's your entire lifespan plus 75 years. So there's a few books, a few classics that are going to fall under that categorization. So if you haven't read some of the classics, go on and get them.
Well, can I just tell you guys a small little story? When I was growing up in the Philippines as a young female, we had what's called PX stores. It had nothing to do with the army, but it's these people who would come to the United States and or have things be shipped from the United States to the Philippines, and they'd sell it. And I'll never forget, this is probably already ludicrous to you guys. I'm talking the 90s. I'm not talking early 2000s. Inflation wasn't that bad then. I think peso to dollar at the time was 37. We're now at like 54, just to put how bad inflation has been. I remember a Toblerone bar, if you convert it, was already at $30. Jesus I could only imagine what it is.
It's not even a good bar. Jesus Christ.
Well, we loved it. Hello. I mean, Jacqueline, I was a fat gay kid. What was I supposed to do? but you know what I mean? Like $30. I'll never forget the things that you could buy here for $1. Same dollar store that you guys have.
Yeah.
It was being sold there for maybe $5-10. I maybe am forgetting this because I live in the United States, but that is insane. The things that you guys are telling me are literally insane to me right now.
Yeah. Well, that's why people get surprised when they come here and they have to spend so much money on shit.
Well, the dollar took a jump today.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. It did. So here's an update on a story. I don't think Arthur was, or Ryan was here for the story. I know Arthur was. We talked about the school bus driver from London, Ontario, who fed his semen to children that rode his bus. He cooked treats.
And, God,
he cooked treats with his semen and fed it to 39 kindergarten to 6th grade children over a period of 2 years. Videoed the children eating it and shared it online. Well, he's had his sentence in, and he was sentenced to 5 years.
Why just 5 years?
Because like the laws here are ridiculous.
Is he going to be on a sex offender registry?
He will be registered as a sex offender for life.
Good. Well, I mean, that's how it always should be. Once a sex offender, always a sex offender. There's
also not allowed to use the internet for 15 years.
Can I say, Arthur, I kind of disagree with you on the whole sex offender thing. I don't, depending on, I think, the severity of the crime. I'm sorry to say that. I know that is such an unpopular belief of mine, because there are people who are on the sex offender list who may have been having sex with their girlfriend when they were both 17, and because they did it in public, they're considered sex offenders. So for me, it crosses a little bit of the line. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that point.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I can't say that I disagree. But I think that's more an undersight or an oversight of how the laws regarding sex offenders are made, right? Okay. Like I've said before, like I like to fucking go smoke a joint on my deck and take a piss off the, I have a fucking school right behind my house. If I get caught, I'm a sex offender. That's not maybe lewd. That's not fair. Lewd and decent acts, but I shouldn't be a sex offender. But as far as I'm concerned, rapists, assaultists, pedophiles, those are sex offenders.
Feeding your semen to children.
Right, that's a fucking sex offender. Yeah. You should absolutely be on said registry for life.
I would rather, honestly, I'd rather die than not use the internet for 15 years.
But, like,
I'm not even joking.
Can I just say, why did he Was there
He's
like
a
a
sick fucker.
Yeah.
okay? But
He was on
Jacqueline,
like he was going on the dark web, and that was like part of his kink, right? And him and his buddies
you have
would
to
all like.
promise me if I say this out loud on the interwebs, nobody's going to fucking cut this up, splice this, and turn this into like something against Ryan thing. Uh, People have weird fetishes, and some have fetishes with semen or ejaculation,
Yeah.
whatever you want to
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it. I'm not going to use the C word, but this is taking it to a different level. I
Well,
mean,
remember years ago on our old
Yeah.
show, we talked about the guy in Colorado who fed his semen in the Greek yogurt to
Yeah.
the women as free samples.
oh yes,
We
yes,
talked
yes, yes.
about it. Yeah. So, I mean, this is not new.
Oh, this is
It's
not new.
disgusting. It's
This
disgusting.
isn't new at all, and I mean, it's not something that's just reserved for people with fetishes and stuff like that. It's also
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but
stupid
keep it in the
children.
bedroom.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have any of these thoughts, so I can't really even begin
Well-
to kind of think of what's going through one person's mind.
Years
but-
ago, I came across, I don't remember how I found it. It was the internet. I came across a cookbook called Natural Harvest, and it was all about cooking with your semen.
Oh
Yeah.
my god!
And
here
it
we
was
go.
one of the grossest things. Not even the fact of the semen, but just like some of the pictures. Like there was like oysters Rockefeller, and you just see like the semen in the fucking oysters.
I will say,
And
this is
but
just
they
so-
said in the book specifically, please don't feed it to people that are not aware that you're giving it to them.
Well, yeah.
Obviously,
Let
they
me
have
just
to
say,
know
like,
it gets
for
sued.
example, let's say I was dating Arthur. Example, I was dating Arthur. And he was like, yeah, you like that? And I was eating it. And he's like, oh, yeah, it has my cum on. It'd be a little bit of a turn on because that's a little hot because it's between us.
Yeah.
But to do
No.
this to some rando? No.
I mean,
This is disgusting.
If Scott made me a bowl of yogurt and I ate it, and he said, by the way, that had my cum in it, he'd be having his penis sliced off that night.
Okay,
One
well,
thing if
that-
I
easy
choose
there,
to
Lorena
eat it,
Bobbitt.
It's one thing
Yeah.
if I choose to eat it. It's another thing when you trick me into eating it. Hell to the fucking no. Now I'm gonna be dipping my tampons in your fucking spaghetti sauce, buddy.
I don't listen. If that is what floats your fucking boat between the both of you, good for you. I'm just saying, because people have weird fetishes. Like, okay, my
Yeah.
other fetish is like, oh, I like people's smells. Like, it's my thing. Oh my god, this is so weird. I'm talking about this on the air. But like, I don't
Just go
want some. But like, I don't want some rando person coming up to me and making me smell them. Like, that's disgusting. There's
No,
a
it's
limit
gross.
to it. You
Just
keep
grabbing
it
your
inside
head,
of you.
stuffing in their crotch while they're walking by you.
I mean, it all comes down to the big topic of the last couple of years: consent. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If people are consenting, feed them whatever the fuck they consent
Any-
to.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly, 100%.
but-
Whatever you're kinking, we try not to kink shame people here.
the
If it's
fact of the
consenting
matter
adults.
is, as a society, we've decided that children can't consent to shit. So
Yeah.
no, and you're fucking disgusting. Like, that's gross. It's so fucking
That's
gross.
gross. No, that's really,
It's
really
so
gross.
fucking
I'm sorry.
gross. Like, in no world is that fucking okay. Like, in the dark web tie, I mean, that's just fucking hilarious. Because I mean, the dark web is just a fucking honey hole of fucking pedos and child porn, and
Yeah.
it's
Sick
fucking
fucks.
disgusting. Like, I've went on some tour stuff before, and it is fucking as disgusting. and
I'm
depraved as
scared of the
people
dark web. I would not even search for the dark web. I'm like 100% being honest.
You know, I'm curious. I'm curious by
I
nature.
did one time. I
Yeah.
actually tried to figure out how to get on the dark web. I think I was curious because I wanted to find out what people were doing on there. Like what? Like,
Yeah.
was I going to see webcams of people like jerking off? Like, I don't know.
That's
Most
what
of
I
it,
would
most of the dark web, and this is, to kind of quell some people's fears, it's just an archive. It's just shit that was on the internet before the internet was popular. So you want to go read some medical dissertation from 1992? It's there. Now, there are pockets of it, like the Silk Road and, some of the Red Rooms and stuff like that, where more heinous stuff goes on. But you have to actively search for that stuff. You can't. It's very rare
Not
that
gonna
you're
just
going to be
stumble on it.
right. You're just going to be dicking around looking through fucking archived old geo pages or whatever the
Be
fuck
like,
they were
oh
called.
my god, a Robbie Williams forums. I'm
Right.
gonna look at this.
And
What?
then all of a sudden, you just bid on some fucking Syrian girl to murder it. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Okay,
The commercials
that's
are
good to know.
lying to us.
Okay.
But
Oh,
if you look for
CSI
it,
lied to me.
yeah, but if you're looking for it, like, it's why I think the dark web is as dangerous as it is because
Yeah.
you can find the really, really depraved people and stuff on
Stuff,
there,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you can't monitor it. There's no way to monitor it. But I mean, it kind of needs some type of oversight, considering there are people being made victims just to be put onto the dark web.
Yeah.
Have I ever been on the dark web, Arthur? Like, this is a stupid question.
Do you have any webcams that are, not secure?
Yes, I have one right now.
Then you could be.
Well, then they're just seeing my tit. Okay, go ahead.
With I mean, you guys heard about the data breach, obviously, right?
Yeah, that one they were talking about today, that fly or whatever.
Yeah. So even something like that, if any of us were affected by it, maybe our information's on there, maybe our medical records are on there, maybe there is a link to an unsecured webcam that you have. Yeah. I have stumbled across people's unsecured webcams. It is fucking creepy. Like it's weird. It's so odd to sit there and to see.
I feel like I like watching things like that. Now I wouldn't want to watch someone without their permission, and I don't want to see any sexy things. But I would be like, I know I would watch someone like cleaning their yard, or you know what I mean, like some weird how.
Voyeurism doesn't have to be a dirty, filthy thing. Right?
I used to watch webcams for New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans and stuff.
Yeah. But the problem is the fact that people, I mean, again, I don't know how big of an issue it is anymore. I know a lot of IPs have themselves start to block people's stuff, right? So your internet provider will do it for you. But at the same point in time, I mean, you don't know unless you go on and look.
Yeah.
Which is scary. It is scary.
But that's why ultimately, I'm so afraid sometimes, on my phone, I actually, when I'm sleeping or I'm dressing up or whatever in my house, I put my phone under my pillow. Mm-hmm. God forbid. I mean, granted, I'm sure some people would puke if they see me naked, but still. No, I am. My.
It's not even just third-party people or the NSA or CSIS or the FBI that you have to worry about. Your internet provider, your IP, whether it be Verizon or Rogers or anything like that, they are constantly listening through your devices to sell your information to targeted advertisers.
Yeah. That's why when you're like, oh, should I order some pancake batter off of Amazon, and then you go on Facebook and you're getting syrup ads?
It's already there, right? So we know that our internet providers will already do this kind of stuff. Yeah. And these, we're paying
ultimate breach that we're all talking about, and this is what worries me. With again going back to the whole technology thing, is there is this huge con of it that you lose your privacy. I'll never forget. Today I was in White Castle, and I was ordering breakfast and whatnot, and I was wearing pants that blend in with my skin. And these two young girls, probably the age of about 17, 18, were there. And you can tell that they were snapping pictures of who? I don't know. Do I care? A little bit, because what if I didn't want my picture to be taken? What if I didn't?
Because now you can end up on the, White Castle website, like you see all these women of Walmart and stuff. And
yeah. I mean, that's a whole different fucking... can of worms open, though. Like, what rights we have while we're in public, you know what I mean? Like, it's for me, it's a huge gray area.
Yeah, it is.
I like my privacy, and I would like my privacy to be respected. But if someone taking a video of me or a picture of me or what have you, or I end up in a surveillance video of some crime or something, like, I don't know. It's just a weird gray area for me.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to it that, I mean, I don't want to be on the internet. I don't want people taking fucking photos of me. I don't even want fucking people I know taking photos of me, right? Like, but I mean, there's just nothing we can do nowadays. There's literally nothing we can do.
You and I share that same sentiment. My friends and I don't know if Jacqueline, I'm sure you've seen it. We're taking a huge trip in a couple of weeks. And one of the rules that I came up with, and you guys tell me if you think this is weird. By the way, I want to remind people, I'm 28 years old. I'm not some recluse that's 65 who's gone through so much in life. I'm 28 years old. I said, I don't want any photos. I don't want any Instagram posts, because I don't have any of those social media stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was like, Ryan, my God, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And he said, you know what? Because I just don't want it to be out there. I don't want a misconception of things, and I'm not interested in having
to explain. You don't even have to explain yourself. Just, I don't want it. And that's how you kind of have to respect somebody's wishes.
I tried to peddle that a lot in the last year. why the fuck do I have to make an excuse when I say no? Why is it that anytime I say, hey, I don't want this, don't fucking do it, I have to now explain myself? I'm a grown-ass man. You should respect my fucking wishes. Because if you said, hey, Arthur, no, I'd be like, okay. You know what I mean? So to your point, Ryan, when you say no to your friends and they go, but why? Tell them to suck your fucking dick. You said
it's a matter
no.
of consent. And
Dude,
you said
flat
no.
out. You said no. And there's nothing they can say or fucking, you know what I mean? It really bothers me.
Yeah.
Because it feeds so much insecurity. It feeds people getting anxious and feeling insecure about being around their friends. They're like, oh, well, maybe now I have to have the Instagram, and maybe now I have to take the influencer-esque fucking photos and shit. No, I don't fucking like it. I said no. You don't like it? Fucking pound rocks, bud.
Yep.
I don't know. It bothers me like that. It really gets under my skin because.
But this is kind of like the conversation I've been trying to have, even with my sisters about stuff. Is I'm not a big picture taker. You guys are very aware of this. I've made this very aware for a very long time. And it's not because I feel like I'm this or I feel like I'm that. That's irrelevant. I just don't like photographs. I feel like I would rather be a part of it than have to take a picture of it.
Right.
So my whole thing with what's going on with you saying this, and then this whole thing that's going on right now with Facebook, potentially we could be compromised, is it's like, I enjoy my privacy. I enjoy that people don't know what I'm doing. Not because I'm doing something shady, but because I am the only one that should be knowing when I'm jacking off or when I'm fucking wanting to order something. Why is everything made so public? Like, that's what bothers me ultimately, is everything so fucking public.
Well, because if you don't have an Instagram about it, did you really do it? Did you? You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. Like it really is. You know, the only time you'll ever see me take photos, and I don't know if you ever see them, but I pretty much look miserable in every single one, is when I'm fucking forced to do it. You know what I mean? When I have to go to a wedding and they're like, "Oh, Arthur, let me take a picture." It's like, no, go fuck yourself. I don't want to. And then I got to sit there with this stupid fucking frown on my face because I'm tired of hearing people bitch and moan and cry. But no, I'm with you. I fucking hate it. I think it's stupid, and I'm tired of people being like, "Oh, but why? But why? But why?" Because fucking said no. That's why.
That's what I just
no
like,
other fucking reason except I said no.
You know, I know people probably in our family thought I was a miserable bitch, but when I worked 5 days a week, and then they wanted me to go take one of my precious days off and go to a kids party. No offense, my mind, kids parties are for kids,
right?
And I don't think an adult should have to go and hear 25 kids screaming. I don't have fun at them. I'll send a gift if I have money. I ain't going.
Oh.
And when I had my kids and they had parties, I never made any adults come to my kids' parties because they don't belong to them.
No.
But that's ultimately the biggest problem that I'm having is, am I this recluse that I'm being painted to be? And this isn't turning into a Ryan therapy session. It's really just a main conversation about where we are in society nowadays. Because a lot of the times I think, am I this miserable person that people are painting me to be? Or am I just not wanting to be a part of all the stuff that they feel like I should be a part of? I don't want to go out drinking and spend God knows how much money on, you know, Jaeger bombs, or I don't even know what they're called nowadays. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not me. My idea of fun is, like, I have declined going to one of the best restaurants in New York City because I knew how packed it was and how many people I've had to say hi to. This was even before my divorce. This was even before anything was going on in my life. So can you imagine what it's like for these young ones, like, constantly wanting to be a busy bee? I don't get it.
I know, when I see people like, "Oh, I'm going out tonight," and I'm like, "It's a work night. What the hell? You can go out when you got to get up in the morning and go out."
It's what our, I don't want to use the word idols because, you know, I don't think any of these people are role models and or idols, but they're kind of peddled onto us as they are. But it's what we get with this modern rash of role models and shit.
Yeah.
You can't fucking tell me that young kids aren't influenced by the likes of the Kardashians or whatever other stupid fuck celebrity they're following around nowadays. The last little bit, I'd say probably since my later teenage years, it has been about going out and partying and drinking and getting as messy as you can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely a lot of binging.
And now with the, I can't say advent, but with the over fucking whelming reach of social media, you now have that aspect into it as well, where not only do you have to sell your life and your sanity short to go out and party all the fucking time, because that's just, you know, that's just what the cool kids do. You also have to, you know, post 98 fucking photos of the same night of the same fucking pose that the other fucking 40 other fucking drunk whores fucking posted.
Find it's the same 3 or 4
it's
people.
It's the same thing.
Pictures.
Oh my god! Like I don't understand how you can fucking see someone's Instagram photo, go, oh my god, that's cute, and then go out and try to get the exact same fucking one. Like, your life is not special. Stop trying to make it seem special because you're ripping off other people's fucking lives. And these influencers are not people to look up to. Most of those girls are fucking selling their bodies for these trips and shit. Which, again, you want to be a hooker, by all means, be a hooker. But these fucking young kids growing up and being like, well, no, this is, I want to go to the Maldives. I want to do this. Why can't I do this? Well, do you want to hook yourself?
Saudis and
right? Like, if you want to whore yourself, by all means, fucking whore yourself out. I don't care. But to me, it's so detrimental. It's so fucking detrimental to where we're at.
But that's really what's going. I mean, I hate to repeat this, but that's really what's going on, and it's because you have to really, at this age, you have to question everything that you do. Because at some point you feel like the outsider. I'm sorry to rant about this, Jacqueline, but it got me really thinking today. Like, I'm on my way home, and my friend on the phone says to me, "Oh, you're such a loser. You're just going home." Yeah, what else are you supposed to do? It's a work night. It's a Monday.
Right.
Like,
you want me to drop $700 on fucking cocaine, bud? I got rent to pay. Like, the fuck are you off about? Like, give your fucking head a shake. It's grown up time.
And that's it. You see so many of these kids too that are trying to, keep up with their Kardashians, as it were. And if they have a credit card or many credit cards, their credit cards are overdue. They're living on mommy's couch or somebody else's couch because they can't afford, because they are trying to live the lifestyle.
The fact is social media is a lie. Everything that you see on social media is a fucking lie. Like, you cannot tell me that anybody believes that these people, especially these influencers, are fucking vacationing 70% of the year. Yeah. That's bullshit. You can fucking do that. They're fucking lying to you.
My favorite is when they get caught photoshopping their pictures. Right? I love that. Even if I don't know who they are, I love to read the article.
Like, it bothers me. The fact that I even have to know what a fucking influencer is, to me,
and just remember, ladies and gentlemen that sell their buttholes and their vaginas, that shit ain't gonna last and be tight forever. No. So, after 7 years of hard use on these yachts, what's gonna happen then?
Right? Like, I mean, it's not to say that's not something to aspire to. Like, I aspire to go to some of these destinations I see these people go to. Like, I would love to be able to spend the $42,000 a night to go stay in one of those swing up places in the Maldives. But exactly, I mean, if somebody wants to pay me for it, like, hey, I'm open for suggestion. But I won't plaster it online and pretend like I'm living my best life. I'll be like, you know how much dick I had to suck to fucking get here?
That's the pictures Arthur's posting. Here's the 5 dicks I had to suck to get there.
Like, it's been 3 months since, and my jaw still hurts. Was it worth it? No.
Maybe.
But that's why, like I remember. Okay, so when the new iPhone had come out and it was starting to ship, because you guys know how I am. I'm obsessed with things, and it was like maybe 3 days before it was supposed to ship out. I'm like, like on UPS tracking this device, and then I go on YouTube. And all of a sudden, this girl I just seen, I don't know who she is. I don't watch her. She already has her phone, and I'm like, how the fuck did this bitch?
Oh, she probably got sent one for free.
Yeah, exactly. And it is like it is kind of, sometimes you get a little jealous because how do you have it made?
This is why kids aspire to be YouTube stars or Instagram stars, because they get shit without any real work.
Right, and I'm not and not even to say that that's not a viable outcome in life. I asked a friend of mine's daughter. She was 8 years old at the time. I said, what do you want to be? Like, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to be a YouTuber. And I start fucking laughing, going, that's ridiculous. And then I start thinking about it, going, that's a viable career choice for somebody who's 8 years old in the year 2017, right? Like, that's a viable fucking career choice. And we do. I mean, us millennials, we got to get used to these Generation Xers or Zers or fucking Generation Whiners, whatever the fuck we're calling them. We got to get used to that. This is the road they're going down, right?
Yeah, it's the norm now. Yeah,
right. Like, we do have to get used to that. I mean, I always like to think of, like, I imagine my grandparents or my great grandparents, reacting to my father and my aunts, who are all big haired fucking 80s banger looking people, going, what the fuck. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? But they just had to accept that was part of the culture now, right? And I think that's us. I know that I'm weird about the whole influencer and YouTuber and shit like that because it's not for me. So I don't want to say speak out about it a lot, but I do kind of go like, what the fuck? Like, how does this make sense? Like, but I think we just kind of have to accept that that's just life now. There's going to be people that live their entire life on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and they're only living that life to try to make us jealous, and we're going to notice family members of ours trying to
make money off of us, for sure.
Well, that too. That for sure.
Yeah. So, we didn't get to talk about much stories, but I will say this is kind of two interesting stories came out this week. We'll talk very quickly about them. One from Ontario. Now, we all know that marijuana is being legalized in 16 days in Ontario and Canada. The Ontario government has said that anywhere you smoke cigarettes legally, other than cars, and, those sort of places, you can smoke marijuana. So if you're walking down the street and you smell something funky, it'll be legal.
Yeah, shut up.
You can't smoke and drive?
You can, but you're not allowed because it's a narcotic still, right? So it's driving under the influence.
I'm talking about cigarettes.
Oh, cigarettes, yeah.
You can't if there's a child in the car.
Under 16.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right. But that stuff is whatever. I have a feeling that one will change once more science comes out of the fact that contact high isn't a real thing.
Yeah. Well, and they're also now going to open up parks because for years you could not legally drink in one of our parks. So they're going to change that law. So if you're having a picnic, you can have a case of beer or whatever.
But you're not legally allowed to smoke in parks anymore. They changed that a few years ago.
No cigarette.
Right? I'm not allowed. So as it stands right now, this is the last time Ontario, at least.
People don't throw their joint butts on the ground. That's the thing. They keep those roaches.
I mean, if you're poor, sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
So the last time they fucked with our smoking bylaws, essentially what it said is, there cannot be any canopy, like you cannot smoke under anything covered.
Overhead thing,
right? No smoking in any park and no smoking on the sidewalks. So
and you can't smoke within a certain feet of door.
It's 9 meters from a door. I think it's even farther if you're at a hospital or a walk-in clinic or something along those lines, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, this to me is bullshit. So I can smoke fucking dope wherever I can smoke in public. Well, the last time you changed the bylaws, essentially said that I can't fucking smoke in public. So what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, whether you're supposed to smoke on the sidewalks or not, that's all I see people smoking in the fucking bus shelters and everything.
I do it all the time. I don't give a fuck. Say something. I'll flick a cigarette butt at you.
Yeah, exactly. And the other story I just wanted to quickly touch on was LAX, I guess one of the largest airports in California, or the largest airport in California, has now said that you can bring marijuana in there. You can't smoke it, but you can bring it on planes if it's a domestic flight, and they're not going to stop you now, obviously, if you're going to a state that is not legal to smoke marijuana recreationally. You could get in trouble when you get off the plane, but if you're going to like Vermont or Washington or Oregon, I think those are the states, should be okay.
The Sky Marshals, they're federal though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so have fun with that one.
Well, if it's in your bag, they're not going to check your bag. As long as you don't light up a joint on the plane, right?
I mean, I literally don't know how that's going to go. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't risk it because what if your plane got diverted and now you ended up in Utah or someplace?
Texas.
Oh yeah,
death penalty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the whole fucking. It's just weird, right?
If it's recreational, once you get to Vermont, just go into a Vermont cannabis store and buy some. Why do you need to take it on the plane?
Because don't you know the West Coast grows the best?
Oh, Lordy. I'm sure you can get West Coast in Vermont.
Yeah, but then you're paying the premium for the guy that had to hoop it, fucking bring it over there.
Okay, well, then you take your chance and,
No, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be problems with it, just as there has been with everything along the way, but it's a learning curve. I think anybody was naive to think that any type of legalization was going to be smooth. I really do.
Well, especially when it's not a universal thing, like in Canada, where every province is now legalized.
And look how smooth it's going for us.
Yeah.
You know
but I mean, it's not. it's going to be smoother than it's going to be in America when, you know, you've only got 5-6 states legalized and the rest are not.
The issue with that, though, is if it was decriminalized federally, everything would be so much smoother, even if certain states still had it as illegal. The fact that it's still illegal federally, to me, is the reason why it's still fucking weird in the States.
Yeah, and you got that weird little Jeff Sessions who's really, really worried about reefer madness.
Oh, like, of course he is.
Super anti-marijuana.
I mean, of course he is. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to get high and they're going to eat all his cookies. Right?
Keebler cookies.
Yeah, his Keebler cookies, right? Fucking chopping down his tree, trying to get the fucking cookies.
Okay, so I have to work. My boss is on vacation this week, so I have to work the next 4 days. Jesus.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, but I took next week off, so I will be here for our 2 shows next week. And thanks for listening. Have a good week, and yeah, stay nice to each other.
Stay classy,
Bye.
San Diego.
Yeah, sure. Stay classy. Bye.